Well, good evening. Good morning, everyone. Got a little signal there. Been working on our Hawkeye session this morning. Welcome to it. It's 5:55 in the morning Central Time, and I want to get a little started. Jump ahead a little bit before Al and the others jump into the room to give you guys the weather forecast for today. Again, this session, like the previous sessions, are a little bit different than some of our other ones in the past. It's going to be non-aggressive trading morning. There's nothing there to be aggressive about. We're going to scout it out. We do have some movement. We do have some headlines, and we have some pockets of strength, and we got to look for that clean pip, 10 pip getaway position. That's what we're looking for. So again, welcome to Thursday morning, July 9th. I want to just say simple idea for the day is not about finding a trade because we just show up. We have a tendency of anytime we come into the room, we expect to get a trade. Therefore, it makes us feel better, and it may not happen today. So today is about finding that room, that 10 pip room. So that is our lesson for the morning. Room, make sure there's room before reason. A pair can have it can have a decent look. A signal can be close. Strength can start to build and not quite meet our expectations or our rules. But if price is already sitting right under a ceiling or right above a support floor, and we only have 5 or 6 pips before the next wall, that's not enough for our plan. So remember today's framework, we're looking for a 14 pip stop, a 10 pip first target, and then we want our further target to be 17.5. And you ask why 17.5? We did some analysis and some statistical stuff, and that's the number we came up with. So before we ask, do I like a setup? We need to make sure that we ask the more important question of does price even have room to make to our first 10 pips? So let's jump into our calendar. Let me squeeze over here. Okay, calendar. Busy day today overall. We've got some moving to do. I may try to squeeze in a round of golf if I can possibly do it. I don't know. Just a lot happened. Having my daughter and son-in-law having to move back, so we're already in plans for that. So lots going on this morning. Very, very distracted. If I was not in the room, I would not be trading at all. My mind's not here, so I'm going to be very, very careful today not to give too much opinion. So on our calendar, yesterday, let's go to yesterday because that's going to give us a little bit of a viewpoint of what's going on. Yesterday gave us several pieces that we need to make sure that we're respecting. That crude inventory number, we talked about that yesterday morning. Bigger than expected build, but that does not erase the larger geopolitical issues that we're facing right now. I think it's on this screen, as a matter of fact. Yeah, right here. Biggest headline right now is back to Iran again. So that oil is important. So it simply means oil may not have may not move in one clean straight line at this point. Again, we may be bouncing out. We'll take a look at it, but it's just going to be a little bit weird. The Federal Reserve minutes, we talked about that being very, very important. It came out yesterday afternoon, and the market is still kind of digesting the overall tone. We talked about, yeah, we had the numbers, and it's already baked in. But what we never have when it talks about the minutes is what was the tone of the discussion? And what were the key takeaways for that particular minutes? Basically, when I went and read them last night, I know it's kind of sick to think that I'm reading federal minutes, but they're still focused on the inflation piece. The Middle East problem, the energy, still is keeping that inflation risk alive. So that matters, and that impacts the dollar, the gold, and as well, obviously, the oil. So they're inflation focused. So we also had yesterday the Reserve Bank of New Zealand come in, and they raised their official rate from 250 or up to 250. We talked about that briefly. Yes, I think that was just the day before. I think it was the day before they actually did that. Yeah, right here. Late in the evening, we talked about this. Be aware of that because that's going to help explain why the Kiwi is sitting at the top this morning, most likely. It was earlier today when we look at our radar, it was at the top. Just be aware that that's potentially the reason why it's still sitting there. And that may be something that gives us an opportunity. And that really helps us know that our radar is not really random. There is actually real catalyst behind why it's there. The major backdrop, again, today is the Gulf and Iran story. We're seeing very, very mixed headlines, but they're important. Tensions remain extremely high. But there are also headlines that are also suggesting that Iran actually may be reaching out for a new agreement. Now, again, we haven't really gone through the first agreement that they agreed to, but now they want a new agreement. So who knows what that means? We just need to be aware of it. But that's that tug of war thing that's happening, and oil can jump on fear. Remember, oil's our headline. And then pull back when there's hope that the things are going to be solved. And then gold. Gold can catch a bit here and then stall if that dollar firms up. So we've got some real new stuff happening here that's kind of not really clean, headline sensitive. We need to make sure that we reduce our emotional predictions and let the charts confirm everything because we all have opinions on everything, and those do impact what we do day to day in our trading. So let's look at our radar. Okay, so I need to do some work here. I'm in a trade. I just now got my alert. I need to figure out my 7 pip stop. I'm gonna put it right here just for the time. And I'll get back to our overall trading plan because I never want to be doing this during a session. So let's go 36. I think that's that area right there. We'll make sure. Not in a hurry necessarily because it's a 7-0, so I don't have to be in a hurry about this. Yeah, that's close enough. But I do want to stick with my rules. I'm probably going to get stopped out there, but that's okay. It's a trade that we know won. And let's go ahead and minimize that. I'm not so sure I'm on this one yet. Oh, we're close. We're not too far away. So we actually did get into pound US earlier today when I was doing my analysis. So we're looking at our radar screen. Again, our radar screen is our 8 major pairs. We categorize them here. Eight's all I can get on the screen. We actually do trade more if you would like to do so. Right now, there's really nothing on our chart. We could look at the Aussie US that has a 5. Definitely the pound US, but it may have already run away. You'll have to have some rules for that. We've already taken our 10 pip profit on that. We're going to see what happens see if it'll run down to the bottom there. Um, we don't have anything on the US CAD. We don't really have anything on the US yen, Aussie yen. Potential for the pound yen, maybe. We gotta make sure we don't have any obstacles in our way there. And then obviously the US Swiss, which we're also in, is a 671. So when we're looking at this, based on what we see right now, and around 5:30 when I did my major analysis, Kiwi was the strong one. Obviously, that's made a switch since now. It looks like the US dollar is strong, and our Kiwi and our Aussie have sunk. So I'm wondering, let's see if we got some news here today that tells me what's happening. Nothing really. I'm monetary people talking. And we do know that that will cause some issues back and forth. And that can make some things switch up a little bit. Um, yeah, so we've got the dollar sitting at 6. That could be still this Kiwi being the 7. Let's see what we got with the Kiwi here. Kiwi's at 5 now. I'm not trying to back to US at 6, but I don't or 7, but I don't see the number 6 pair. So it could be any number of things. So we'll keep an eye on this one a little bit too. We won't. So that's our weather screen. So we've got some flip-flopping happening. Broad idea of this is correcting it very carefully. We want to make sure the U.S. understands the U.S. dollar is not clean power currency this morning. It's not yet. We'll look at the dollar here in a moment, and we'll be able to tell what's happening a little bit better, why we're doing what we're doing, and why we're getting in trades that we're getting into, or got into trades that are getting into. Looking at our dollar, let's pull up one that won't conflict with what we're already studying. Let's pull up. That's a pretty good one. Let's go with Aussie yen. Put the dollar there and let's dive in. As you can see, over the last 15 minutes, dollar's had strength. It's had strength overnight. That could be a number of reasons, but we had a nice few hours. But look at yesterday. Yesterday did not turn out so well. We thought we were going to have some dollar strength. We actually had dollar weakness. It did rebound by the end of the day. As you can tell, by the end of the day, it hit our supply area and bounced right back up. And then we closed our day and started a new one. So Again, not clear. We really don't have much room to the upside if you look at our lines, although those are not our only indicators here. So just be aware of that. Just in, just bouncing. We our real resistance is here, but now that may become support. Now, I just moved. There's your answer. So we just had a recalibration, a recalculation of a major ceiling. Those don't usually happen while we're in a 15-minute live day trading session, but we had a recalibration of tide fusion with a major ceiling. So again, it gives you a little bit of confidence that the dollar does have room to move. We do have support for it to move. Now let's go ahead and look at our gold. Again, gold is going to be under pressure with the dollar, but you notice it's rising too, which is very, very unusual. As the dollar usually goes up, gold will go down, but that's not been happening. It's again bouncing off of this floor, so we have to respect the floor. There's really no resistance other than certain price points on the daily for this. Let's drop down to 4 hours, see what we got, and you can see it looks poised to go down, which would make sense with the dollar. So looking at a 1 hour, I don't want to spend too much on gold because we just use it as a weather vane. Again, it looks like it's in the middle of something. We've got a change going up. We have a structure going down. We're right smack in the middle. So let's look at our oil. This is going to be the big one. Obviously, our dollar is going to be the captain of the whole ship. We know that the dollar seems to always be the captain of the whole ship. But oil is going to be the one that is going to be the headline bouncer. And you can see we had to bounce. And if you've gone to the gas pump, one station across the street from us is $3.39 a gallon. And then we go to Sam's Wholesale and it's $2.93. If the Trump administration was aware of that, they would be at the other venue saying, why are you charging quite so much? But they are not aware of it at this point. So when you have a 40-cent difference, that tells you that it's not the oil that's causing the price necessarily. There's pieces of it, but yeah. But anyway, we look at the dollar chart or the oil chart. We notice the daily is having a pressure up, respecting the pivot low that was created, as well as the Sherlock that was created way back here, right prior to the war beginning. So this is really the foundational place that we would want to be. It's bouncing based on what's happening recently. Let's drop this down to the 4 hour. We're right up against supply. We would expect that, but that doesn't mean with headlines it can just go right on through. So we've got a little room to the weekly high spot. And we do have some resistance up on the top part. So that is our look into our weather. Let me get this back set up. So we got the US yen. We wanted the Aussie yen. We're doing okay over here. We're still hanging on down here. That's a good sign. Let's look quickly at it and then we'll dive in. Yeah. So what we've also found in our testing, once we move to pips, our stop to 7, if we can hang on for one full candle after moving, it has a tendency of moving it and making the full 17.5. So we are 7 minutes technically, but again, we don't do anything different. This is already a free trade. We let it run. Let's look at quickly at the other one that we're on. Everything looks good. Ribbon was green. Everything turned green. The numbers were strong when I entered. We had no headwind except for this little stuff right here. I didn't see it pop up until after I got in. I thought I had clean air all the way to the 10, which is where you see this. So we may have some struggles here. This did not, the colors did not pop for me, and I don't have labels on them still. And I want to make sure because those labels let me see what I'm looking at. And those are called stacked. When we have stacked fair value gap, could this work? Yes, it could. But when we have found through testing that when we have them stacked, you can see Hercules flip and really get some resistance to where you are not able to make it all the way to the top. And statistically, the odds are against us. That does not mean this won't work. But we're not chasing things. Had I seen this, I would not have entered where I entered. I would have entered a little bit lower down in this discretionary zone down here. But it may never get there. But I think it may create another one later, maybe a bit lower that gets us an opportunity. And maybe by that time, it would drill right out of these. These are usually going to show when you got a 60 on a 15 and a 60 on a 15, it looks like they're stacked. So you got to be real careful with a Sherlock zone right above that. So I was not worried about the Sherlock zone. because it's not fresh, number one, and it's above my 10 pips. I'm not so sure we're going to make that. That's a long haul for this particular pair, but we'll see. We did the trade. We'll do what we need to do. So let me give you a quick recap on the dollar, and then I'm going to be over. I'm going to go through the weather here, and then I'm going to turn it over to Al as he's setting up his screens. I'm going to be busy again. Had a great. Al will verify this. Had a great test run with the Hawkeye Talon. Um, January 5th through January 22nd. It's a small sample size, but very, very, very positive, and he would agree with that. So let's go over the overall simple read of the dollar. It's in a decision zone. If it holds that support and turns back up, obviously the dollar ideas can come back alive, which is what they're doing right now. But if it loses support, every dollar shorts may get a little bit better. But right now, we do not have any real permission to be aggressive, other than seeing that now that we've been pinned as a seven, which is a good thing. Looking at our gold again, short story on this. Gold's message is basically it's caution. There's enough uncertainty in the air that we don't want to chase any sort of weak structure with any of our currency pairs. And again, oil is our, oh man, it is, you light this up with a little bit of gas and you're gonna have quite the explosion with headlines. We got to be real careful with gas. This matters especially for Canadian pairs. If oil is strong, the CAD can catch a option to go up. But if that oil is just bouncing into that wall, don't blindly trade the CAD. So this is really important. Oil is very important to what we do. It's very active right now, but it's not clean enough to build a trade on it by itself. We need some more context with that. So again, that is our morning weather. Let me make sure I wrote some notes down to see if there's anything else that I need to let you guys know. Again, the phrase I wrote down was, we're not here to predict the next candle. Don't get in the habit of coming into the room and saying, okay, I'm in the room, I made time, I need a trade. I have to have a trade. It may not happen for you during the time that you're with us, and that's perfectly fine. Don't try to predict what's going to happen, because the more we try to predict, the more we're going to be wrong. We're here to identify the rule-based strategies that we're using when structure gives us enough room to do so. If it's not there, don't chase pairs you normally aren't familiar with. Stick with the ones you are familiar with. If there's no room to the 10 pips, then don't trade it. Al, are you available and ready to share your screen? I am done with the weather briefing for this morning, and it puts us right at 6:12. I started 5 minutes early, but your microphone is not on, so nobody's going to hear you at this point. This is a good screenshot if you want to take a quick screenshot, as Al is going to share his screen here in a second. And I can see something. I don't know if his microphone's working or not, because I
Yeah,
don't.
it's working.
There you are.
I'm glad you like to get up early because I don't.
Well,
So,
I've been up since about 3:30 and doing
I'm
some more testing, and it's
I'm
been
going to
fantastic.
I'm going to sorely miss you when you go back to school again.
Well, it's going to be mutual. It will be mutual. And I'm going to stop sharing so Al can share his and you won't have conflict there. I am going to mute my mic and I will undo it, Al, if you have questions or if something happens in my trade.
Okay, well, good morning, everybody. First thing I usually like to do, I like to look at the overall Hercules and just see what's hot and what's not. And I can see right now that the British pound is weak, the US dollar is strong on all four pairs. So that immediately had me go to the British USD. So as I sat down here this morning, the first thing I saw was we had a nice little crossover of our dots. We had a red ribbon and we had a nice spread on Hercules. So ideally, this was a candle I'd like. Now, one thing about it is that now we're not getting. In fact, this is something for Brian. Is that when we do the Hawkeye talons and things, as I was looking at it last night, I was noticing we weren't getting any signals when we had a green dots. We had to wait till we got the red dots before we would get a flag or a signal. And that's something this is a really nice early entry. Even though we have the green dots going to the upside, it looks like we had a 6-0 spread on the Hercules. That gave me a nice, this is a nice, and I believe
Are
that's
you
where,
wanting a money bag? Is that what you're talking about?
yeah, it'd be nice to
You
get
have
a
other
money back on it.
qualifications. You
It'd
have
be
other
nice to get a money back of
disqualifiers.
that.
Yeah, you
Now
had
the
other
other
disqualifiers there.
well, the other disqualifier would be we didn't have the gap on here.
Yeah.
Now we did get a gap on this. Well, we have a gap forming on this candle, but you can see this was an extended range candle. And now that this candle just closed, we now have the gap in here. So this is really where we would have possibly gotten a money back signal. We have the gap, we have the crossover, we have the close, and we have the Hercules all. So this is a nice little entry. This would be what I would call the Hercules or the 10 and entry, Hawkeye 10 and entry right there. Now I already have this thing set for a short if it comes back up and gets me into this area. But keep in mind that the
Do you have room to 10 pips after that before hitting anything?
uh right there, this is at
Where your entry is? Where
33.96. This is 33.90, the 4 pips. There's a 4 pip difference here. So if this thing comes up 4 pip, now one thing I could do with the fact that this would fit a money bag entry, I could just take this thing at a market or as this thing pulls back, if it pulls back up into this area, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a sell. It may not get back up to where I have my original sell limit. So what I'm going to do, but it does look like it's trying. We do have the gap. And we do have the crossover. We have everything is working on this. Now, if it comes up here and can't get me in, at the where my sell limit is, I'm going to make this into a sell stop right at the bottom of this trade. So I'm going to go with a sell stop, and we're going to make sure we got enough of we want a stop loss of 14 pips.
Al, question
Yeah,
for you.
yeah.
Um, your yellow line, is that an entry point?
This would be the entry point right there.
What's your price there?
That's at 33.93.
Okay. I'm just making sure you have 10 pips. You do.
Yeah. And so what I'm going to do is right now I have a sell limit right up here. This is where I really liked it. However, the reason why I didn't get the signal was because the gap was not formed until this third candle closed. Here's candle one, candle two was in here, candle three. Once that closes, that forms the gap. Now I could see that this was a pretty good strong gap because it closed and it kept on going down. So the gap was already formed there. So what I do now, I have a sell limit at the bottom of the gap. I have a sell stop at the open of this candle. And whichever one hits first, I'll remove the other one. So looks like this may get me into the trade. But it's gonna have to go a couple more pips. And at this point, I could almost even just do a market entry because we have a money back entry with a
Don't
pullback.
chase.
I'm not going to chase it, just the fact that it's already there. This would be a money bag entry right here. This would just get me a little bit better. This would just get me. Then you see, we went right on up to that, and it collapsed. So we have sellers sitting right up in this area. And I could have done a market order if I want. I could have done a market order there, but I want to get as close to this. Okay, I'm in that trade, so I'm going to. This is the money bag trade. So right now I'm in this trade. Here's where I got in. And here's where my 10 pips, my 10 pip target is right here. And my 17. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my 17 and a half target right here. And I got my stop up at my 14 pip stop. And now I'm going to move this thing to, I'm going to confirm that. And now I'm going to move this to 10 pips. And I'm going to move my first part target right here. I have the 10 pips. I have 55,000 units, so it's going to be, I'm going to build 1.4, 14,000 units on this one. So probably 4, I'm just sort of rounding that off. It gives me 25.45%. I'm going to confirm that. And there's my trade. So we'll see what happens. Right now
Yeah,
we're in this
mine
trade.
didn't trigger.
And see, it didn't trigger.
No, I was still pip away from that
Yeah,
beginning of my gap.
right. And that's the thing. I do like this entry, but especially when you get a closed candle and it just keeps on going, it's already forming a gap right at that point. But this indicator this indicator will not show up until the number 3 candle closes, which is where the yellow line is. But we see we have a 15-minute gap. We have a 1-hour gap. So this is a really nice little trade setup here. We have strong dollar, weak British pound. Right now, I see no reason why this thing isn't going to work for us, although anything can happen. But the trade is set up. That was what I would call a classic money bag trade. I do like this entry better. And the reason I like this is because we've got the close above, we have the ribbon above, we have the ribbon turning red, we had this candle right in.
And at that time, that's where I got in.
Uh-huh.
That we had a little gap up there at the time that I could include in my stop. Because remember, you have to have a gap within your stop area.
It'd be a really, yeah, it would be, let me see there.
It's tiny. It's not even there anymore.
It's not in there anymore. Okay.
Mm-mm.
And we've got that gap. That's the only one we have. Now we might have, no, we don't have that one either.
No. That's 2 days ago, by the way.
This one?
Oh, your news.
This is
Oh, that's never mind.
news.
That's my YouTube. I'm looking at YouTube channel at the same time.
Yeah. But this was the candle I like the best. I mean, it's nice, and you can see it's trending. But you're right though. This candle took, but before, when this candle opened up and came all the way down here, that would be when that candle closed, you had a trend going on. You had a higher high, higher lower high, lower low, lower low. It was actually starting to trend on this with this candle right here. That would have been a nice little start the trend, and this trend is continuing. But you're right though. This would have been a discretionary entry, not a money bag entry, because you didn't have the gap. And bottom line is that with the money bags, the gap has to be confirmed, which is the close of that number 3 candle, which means you're already going to be 15 minutes behind. Now, one thing that we may want to consider, Brian, is allowing a 5-minute, especially on this type of arrangement. If you have a 5-minute gap, put this on a 5-minute candle, you're probably going to get that gap on a 5-minute. You may get a 5-minute gap on that. Let me see. This is something just to consider. Yeah, so you have had a 5-minute gap in this area right here, which would have allowed you to take that.
No, it wouldn't.
If you're allowing a 5-minute gap to be formed on a 5-minute,
because you're not changing any of these rules during testing at this point.
Because you're going to have to wait 15 minutes before you're going to get that other 5-minute gap. You can see where that 5-minute gap formed.
If I'm getting 70% right on my money bags, and our goal was 60, I'm not changing squat.
Right, but I guess this would be a good discretionary. This would have been a nice little discretionary trade.
It could have been, but it never got back up there.
Well, all the more reason why that helps to confirm that this candle right here was the entry candle on that. For the
discretionary trade, defined discretionary trade is when it retraces back to a fair value gap. So that you just said that was a good discretionary trade. No, that's if you're waiting for confirmation of another move, that's not discretionary trade.
Yeah. But anyway, I do like this candle right here. I did like that candle. And now I did pull now. Yeah, because that was right where I had this. But I mean, you can see the second carry. It did come back in to retest that.
Blow it up.
It's just something to think about.
Blow it up. I don't think it reached it. Nope. Did you make it bigger? Your second candle in on a 5-minute retested it, but again, if we're going to be jumping that back to 5-minute, we're chasing.
Well, and there's some truth. There's truth to that. There's truth to that. But anyway, either way, this was a valid money bag trade at the at this level right here. Because when this thing closed, it did pull back. It did pull back to the gap area. Here's it, but it came right up, but it did not penetrate the gap.
Al,
Yeah.
there is no money bag on this. It didn't qualify for money bag.
And what kept it from qualifying?
That I'll have to look, but it's not giving us a qualified money
Well,
bag.
I was looking at, just so you know, I was looking at some of these on other pairs last night using the template that we had,
Yep.
and all the money bag trays had these dots turning red before you got the money bag. And we need to be able to get it so the money bag will trigger even with green dots above. I think that's where, and also I noticed that with the money bag, it was not respecting the Hercules.
Okay. What do you mean by respecting the
It was
Hercules?
giving me money bag trades when the Hercules was all over the place.
Well, it doesn't use Hercules.
I thought I
It
did.
references it, but it has its own strength meter.
Okay, well,
And it's based, and the strength meter when it comes off is at the close. Your Hercules is at the opening.
no, this Hercules closes right here when the close to that candle, this candle right here.
No,
Hercules locked in at the close of this candle.
when you get your label, it has a number on it.
The label of on the money bag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what's the number represent?
The strength at the close.
Okay. Higher the number, the higher the strength.
Yep.
Okay.
So you might see a close of a candle and get a money bag that shows a 6. And when you look down at your Hercules, it shows a 5 or a 4. That's not unintentional, by the way.
Okay. I guess that's something we'll have to go over with. So all I know is I really like this candle. I do. If the candle that we actually got in on satisfied all the criteria where we had the close below the dots, we had the red ribbon, and we had a close of the Hercules with at a 5 or above for the strength and a 1 or below for the weakness.
Well, there's documentation that tells you all the criteria of what is actually a money bag and what's actually a Hawkeye trade. Because if you look at yesterday on the pound US, you actually got a Hawkeye alert. So we'll just need to give you another pair that's just a placard, something that tells you exactly what it is instead of a document because you're not going to read the document.
This trade's working out very nicely. Dollar is still strong, and the British pound is still weak. And that's really true for the U.S. Swiss as well. The Swiss is weak. It's number 2 to the weak side.
And that's the one that I'm in as well, but it's going right up to those fair value gaps that are stacked and stalling.
U.S. Swiss was not really doing a whole lot. It wasn't giving us a lot of mobility, a lot of movement, but right now we are looking at, again, what I'd be looking at here. Here's a crossover green. Here's the close above, and we have this candle right there would be what I would look at and saying this is the candle that I want to be getting in on. This would be a long. So green locked in, and we have a close above the dots, and we have a green ribbon, and we have a 7. Let's see what's this thing here. And we have a 6-1 on the close. So right there, I like this trade here. Now you can see this one may have stopped this though. Let me see. Target. Nope, not even close.
Full target reached on the pound US.
From where you got in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you got in. I'm about ready to
As soon
hit
as the ribbon turned red, I was in.
Yeah. And that's where we need to have these things that I'll be able to alert. That's where
Well,
that would be the alert candle.
close below the two lines. That's the rule we've been using. We never even talked about the dotted color red. I don't know why it's doing that, but hey,
Close
we'll
below
figure that
the
out. But I don't know if I want to change it because the money bags are running over 70%. Maybe a secondary alert, but not change with the money bag. Call something else.
okay. Well,
Because if you're getting a 70%, 80% win ratio for the money bag is what it was.
yeah,
Whatever those numbers
yeah,
were,
it was 80. Yeah, it was 80%.
then why would we change it? I'm just saying.
Well, all I'm saying is we need an alert of some sort on this candle here. We need an alert of some sort. When this candle closed, we need an alert of some sort. Now maybe not because we didn't have the gap, but you certainly had when this thing closed, you certainly had a gap that was all the way down here when that closed, but then it came back and retraced it. It didn't close the gap, but it did retrace to the gap.
See, I don't even see a 15-minute gap there at all now.
Actually, there's a little bit of a gap. There's from this candle, candle 1, candle 2, candle 3, closed, and then there should be there's just a little bit of a gap right there, or it's right on the same. Oh, there it is. Actually, it's right at the same point. It went right up to that.
I still have a discretionary trade at 33.95.8 for a pullback.
33.95. Yeah, you 95. Well, 30. I got 33.96. So we're at the same point there.
It's right where you're.
That's right. This is the bottom of the gap. Is where you're at right there.
Yeah, that's your discretionary entry. Your stop is ends up being right at the lines.
Yeah. Now you can see when I mark this as a when I marked this when this candle closed, when we got the gap, and this thing wicked up into this area here, that's when I did the sell stop. So that way I know that this is as high as it went before it got me into the trade. And now it's just trending. It's just flat trending right now. This area right here, we had the Hercules, we had the close above, we had the green ribbon at that close. Now do we have a gap? Where's my gap here? Let's see if I have a gap. Should have a gap right below. I had a gap right in this area. We had a gap, and our stop is below the gap, so we have that for our protection. And right now, we can be looking at possibly doing a buy stop, a buy limit right here at the pullback. Because I could have gotten in the trade here, I didn't get in, and now we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're looking at 2.5 hours from the close of this candle. 15, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 1 hour, 1, 2, 3, 4. An hour and 15, 2 hours and 15 minutes that we've been in this trade. We still haven't gotten our 10 pips from this point. We still did not get the 10 pips. We still have a 7.2. The dollar is still strong even on the pullback. But we do have some gaps right up in here that would be a problem. And that could be a disqualifier if you're looking to have clear sailing for 10 pips and you don't really have it. You have a 60-minute gap right there, 2 60s and a 15, all right in the same area. And that's right where it rejected it. Let's see if there's a Sherlock there. When I told you Comparatalk was hands down the best wireless company that I had. My Sherlock on. Well, some of you were skeptical, but Consumer Reports just asked. And that should be extra strong. In America, including the big boys. Well, guess which company was the only. There's our Sherlock zone up there. But we do have these gaps right in this area. Value data. 5 stars across the board. You see, this thing came down to probably 7 pips. I bet this thing came to 7 pips. Yep, came right to 7 pips, and now it's pulling back. These things move in 7-pip increments. One more time. The dial 50, say micro, and switch to a 5-star American wireless company. They'll both let you down.
The first ticket to the World Cup semifinals will be punched today. France takes on Morocco. France seeking a third World Cup title. Morocco is after its first. The NBA movement will continue to turn. Reports out that LeBron James is playing a handful of teams and is taking a pitch to the Philadelphia.
And with this one, if you wanted to, you could always pull this thing back to give us our 7 pips and say, okay, if it gets down to this area, I'll take the trade. That will give you your 7 pips to your rebar. Still have the gap below. And you still have a Sherlock fairly deep into it.
Radio connects with more Americans than TV, digital, even social. How radio can help your business. Call 844-844-iHeart.
Right now, we're still in this trade, still good. We have not hit our 10 pips, which is right here at the 133.83 level. We've got 7 pips, but that wasn't enough to close anything out. We have to wait for 10. If it comes down here and fights this 10, I can move my at least one of my targets into the 7 pip area. But I think there's enough. This is just a little minor pullback. We still have Hercules is still strong, still running with a 7-0 spread. No reason to get out of this trade. No reason to not expect that we're not going to get our 10 pips on this. And we sit on our hands right now.
Yeah, that U.S. Swiss is the one that we talked about earlier, where if I'd have seen what I saw, I wouldn't have got in.
Yesterday, the Swiss really did not. It moved, but it didn't move a whole lot. It's really struggled getting. No, it was sort of stuck in a rather narrow range, and the range just wasn't quite enough to really do much.
Specifically around Detroit, southern Michigan, they must have different suppliers. I'm not sure where all the produce comes from.
But I could see getting on a trade with this one, making sure I could get my 10 pips, is back this thing off to this level right there for the top for the target, and then wait for it to come back the 10 pips into this area here to be able to get you in. Now, I do like the idea with, let's see, where's this candle? Let me see where this is at. There's 5.
Is that the pound US of yours?
This is US pound US on the left. The left screen is the pound US. Like this candle right here gave us a signal. Got the Hercules. Got the close above. We have the close above, and we have a green ribbon. So right here is the ideal, but it's a little bit tight for the 10 pips. So move this back, the target down to the entry down to you have the 10 pip target where it bounced. Putting it right here for a high limit would not be totally out of question. And this would be a stop of pips 14. And then the take profit would be up here. So I'm not in this trade. I'm waiting for a pullback to come into this area. That gives me my 10 pips to the target. I still have a gap in between, and we have a Sherlock zone down below. Right now we have dollar strong with a 7, and we have the British pound with the 0, and we have the Swiss franc with a 2. As long as the dollar stays strong on the pullback, I'm okay getting into this trade. This would be the pullback to the original entry. This is the entry I want to use. And the reason why I did that, again, is because that gives me the 10. If I get in down here, it still gives me the 10 pips up to this area.
is him stuffing his face with something. He loves posting food pictures. Okay, then why would you go with that choice? Why would you go with the same turkey mini sub healthy? I don't understand.
This is where I had a sell stop where it came closed, came on up, quicked up into there, and got me into the trade all the way down to this one. And now it's having a little bit like a drop, a little bit of a basing right in this area here before it either gives it up or opens it up. I'm not seeing any major news this morning.
Just
FOMC,
headlines.
Yeah, FOMC, existing home sales, natural gas storage, 10:30. Mostly all yellow. The only unemployment claims at 8:30. No, this would see. We don't have non-farm payroll this week. That was last week, I believe. As long as I see the dollar is strong across the board, I'm okay with this, both these trades. Now they're both on the same direction with the dollar strength.
Yeah. Why are they swearing? Because this focus group came back and said, you don't talk like normal people. You need to talk like normal people. And they translated that to me to swear. Because they are not normal people, they're aliens and reptilians. Yeah. Well, you can remember the video where the reptile, the secret or whatever the cover was fell off. You can see the reptiles in that Obama clip back in the day. Yeah, I do. Yeah. Yeah. It was before AI. Yeah.
And we wait.
And we wait.
The indicators where we weren't probably going to get much today, but it looks like we at least got something early on.
My social media, and what I mean by that is me just doom scrolling Twitter occasionally.
An Aussie yen signal here on at 5 o'clock. Let me go see, take a look at that.
It was a weather map from the other day that showed a storm front that was moving through the Midwest, basically from like Omaha to Minneapolis, basically that whole span there.
And we have Aussie yen.
The core part of the storm looked exactly like those hurricane tracks look, where it looks like a male appendix, sports car. So it's funny.
Right? This was at 5 o'clock. Let's put a line here at 5 o'clock.
I just assume everything is fake. And I cheated myself out of joy because it was only literally the next day I realized that was the real
And this was before we had all this other stuff that we were looking at. And see, nothing on board there.
Myself, and I didn't get that joy because I
just 5.
So the AI has ruined everything, and now I won't even believe it with the red one. Here's the red circles is great for you.
Which way, Aussie?
Aussie yen. This was at 5 o'clock, but nothing here, nothing confirmed until this would be a Hercules confirmation. Close above, green ribbon. Right here would be the confirmation that I like. I don't see any gaps below. I like this candle right there for the now whether I could take it long or not. We don't have a gap. We don't have, and this thing would not have. I don't think this one would have worked. Oh yeah, there's still 14 pips here. Aussie strong. Yen is weak. Close above the dots. We have a green ribbon. We have Hercules on board. But we don't have a gap. I don't see a gap.
The professor, and he introduced me to a radio guy he knew, and this is old school radio. The Aaron.
We have a gap down here, but it's not below. That could possibly be a disqualifier. But now, if we get a gap on this, now we could possibly get a gap on this. When this candle closes, we could have a little bit of a gap in here. And what I'll do a lot of times is this is my candle 1. Here's my candle 2. Candle 3 is not formed yet. I'll wait and see when this candle closes what the high of it is, and then see if it will penetrate. If this candle goes way up in here and it pulls back to the mid-range, I will possibly take it because that I know that there's a gap forming, but right now we don't know that because of we don't have the close of candle 3. Still not in this trade. We're still in this one. It came back up, retested my entry point. This was the entry I liked the best. This is the one I got in right down here. But this one I liked the best, but I didn't have enough room, so I backed it off into an area where I could get my 10 pips.
You know what I'm saying? You're not technically an adult at that point, and that was so worth it. I did get a photo.
US Swiss 745. I'm going to change this to US Swiss.
People telling them, explaining, hey, you know what? You're a child. You're a child. When did the third Back to the Future come out?
Let's take a look at the US Swiss here. We had an alert at 745. Let's clean this all up.
Yeah, this would have been 1990.
And we have the spread. We have a green ribbon. And ideally, you see right there is, I like this candle right here. It's above. We have a gap down below. There's the open of that. We have the gap. It did not fully close. At least it did not close below the gap to take it away. On these two different indicators, the one with the fair value gap nephew _ Sam, in order for this gap to go away, the candle has to close below. If it just wicks down and doesn't close below, this one still holds the gap. On this indicator, it has the number 3 candle has to close. The number 3 candle has to close, and you still have the gap. Here's a wick. Here's candle 1, candle 2, candle 3, but this candle closed the gap. So we don't really have a gap there. Put my lines in here to the 5, above the 5. Put my line in here to the 1. It's at the 1. So this candle right here would have, that one would have qualified. It was still at the 5 and at the 1. This candle here would have qualified. There was a close, but we have a little bit of a gap right in this area, right in here. You see the gap? If I got into this candle right this area to go long at this candle, we have a gap, stops below the gap. At this point, we could do a buy limit. This is US Swiss. And we have the target. And we can confirm that, and we're going to modify it to make sure we have the right units. I'm more concerned about the stop than I am the stop is what sets the trade value. And take profit would be up here. That'd be the 17.5 is way up here. 10 pip profit would be right here, and the stop on both is down here. And this one we have 46,000 units. If we get filled with this, it's going to be a 14,000 on take profit 1. Trade set for that one.
And that's all I gotta say about that.
And that's all we gotta say about that. Now the 10 pips is a little bit short on this, but this is a candle. To me, this is the confirmation candle right here. We had a 5, we had a 1, green ribbon, close above. This one, we had everything, but we didn't have Hercules. If you look here, we had close above, green ribbon, but down here on this candle, when this thing closed, we had a 4 and a 0. I wanted to see a 5 and I would see a 5 or above, a 1 or below. We had the below, we didn't have the 1 or above.
That's all I'm saying. 749.
And we're still hanging in okay with our British US. It's still, it's just playing with us right now. But those are our trades.
Not a bad time to hang out here with us. Get some. Terry Quinn, this report is sponsored by National Heritage Academies.
At National Heritage.
I did get it tied fast by on the close of this candle right here.
Into our challenging academic curriculum to help kids discover what they can be and who they can be. Free K-12 school today.
So I was literally.
Brian, when you're doing your testing with the money bags, are you looking, when it gives you a money bag signal, are you looking at Hercules at all?
No.
Because I thought it was, I thought that was kind of a built-in thing.
We took Hercules and strengthened it for the 15-minute stuff. It's not exact calculation to what Hercules does.
Okay, all right. I thought,
Well, I mean, it's close. You shouldn't be more than 1 or 2 off at any time, but yeah, it's doing a little extra measurements inside the candle.
okay. I guess I was under the impression that that was all programmed, that Hercules
Well,
was,
I mean,
was embedded in it.
The goal, I would say the goal at the end of the day is you have Hawkeye Talon on your screen. You don't need anything else.
Right, that's the goal.
But the problem with that is you have to have your Hercules there if you're going to do any sort of discretionary trading when you do retracements, because we don't have a retracement automated.
Right. But I
That's
guess
the only thing to use.
I guess I thought that you didn't get the money back unless Hercules was on board.
Well, okay, restate what you're saying. Hercules is embedded inside of Talon, but it's not Hercules anymore because I changed the calculations.
Okay, all right. I guess
There's a strength meter in there, but I don't think you have the newest Talon, because when I see your signal there, you don't have a number there.
well, I'm not even running Talon on this. I don't think I am.
US Swiss has a buy money bag
US.
sitting right smack dab in the middle of it. Your middle screen.
US. Okay, 2 US. Okay, US is twice in it. I
Your
thought
middle
that-
screen has
Yeah, it seems like I got the same thing on both of them. This one has the Talon on it. I put the Talon on this one.
and you must not have the latest version of it, so you didn't
Yeah.
update. So yours is gonna be different than mine.
Oh, I thought I updated that the other day.
Nope. Not if you don't have a number by it.
Oh, here's the money bag. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess I could have swore you gave that to me.
I know I did. Doesn't mean you didn't. It doesn't mean you didn't clear off and update everything. Because it's not like it's been published. It's not like you can have.
Yeah, I know you didn't publish it, but I thought
You have to clear out the old one completely, and then reinstitute all of them on your page.
I guess Roy did all that.
It's a little bit of a pain, but until we publish it. Let me do this. Let me check our.
Well, wait till we get done with the session today here,
Yeah,
and I'll do it. I'll update it.
Yeah. We can do this too.